Hello everybody and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I'm a D&D sex icon and the world's greatest role player. I'm back today for yet another episode.
When did we add
City of Mist! City of Mist is happening. It's happening now, and I will hear no contest. We have a great cast and crew with us today for our second game of the 48-hour stream. So let's go around, let's figure out who we are and who we're playing. Let's start with Sid, our MC for tonight. Sid, what's up?
Hi, I'm Sydney, and I'm gonna be running you through this game that I've never run before, and nobody here has ever run before. So we're gonna have a great time running this game that no one's run before.
If no one's run it before, then there's no way to get it wrong. That's the cool thing.
No way to get it wrong. So I'd appreciate it if nobody calls me out on the mistakes I'm going to make. But I am excited. Yeah. I forgot how to introduce
what could possibly go wrong?
Go ahead.
That's how you do it. That's a masterclass on how you do it, folks. Let's go. Yeah, Sid's our MC. We also have Speedy with us tonight. Speedy, what's up?
I will. Not much. I'm happy to be back on here. I have not been on your channel in what feels like too long.
It certainly has been.
But I'm Speedy or Not So Speedruns. You can find me online there. Today, however, I am playing as Marcus LeVay, who is a museum curator at this Museum of Tragedies, an expert on restorations, and with a mythos that allows him to, in a way, turn back the clocks on some of these more ancient artifacts, restore them to their former glory.
Awesome. Awesome. And, of course, we have Ellie back with us tonight from Beholder Gaming. Ellie, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this because I had a little bit of a breakdown yesterday trying to figure out how to make the character sheet and everything, and Sid was awesome, and Speedy was awesome, and everyone just like totally helped me like coalesce an idea.
That was definitely awesome. Yep.
And so I'm excited to play. I am playing Rachel Summers because I have because her mythos is like kind of a phoenix thing, so I have no creativity whatsoever. So I stole it straight from X-Men, and she is a paramedic, and of course a healer. So I'm ready.
Going with the heals. Going with the heals. Awesome.
Healers.
Yeah. Awesome. As myself, I'll be playing Russell Gibbs, the ex-policeman, now turned sort of PI, having lost a lot of his identities in the last season on Encounter Roleplay. He's back for a little bit more investigation. He's a guy in his probably close to the 50s now, chain smokes, and is pretty washed up now. He's not feeling so good, but he's gonna try in this Museum of Tragedies, which sounds like the perfect place to spend an evening. Before we dive into the game, I'll remind you guys, of course, you can interact with today's show. If you haven't retweeted this tweet, hit that retweet button. 20 retweets, you guys get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. And of course, if you subscribe, !sub should take you to the button to subscribe to the channel, where every 5 subscribers, you guys get another viewer decision. And of course, you can donate to affect the game by giving players Nat 1s, Nat 20s, Wild Magic Surges, and Leroy Jenkins. That's right, my friends. Actual, cannibal, real life Leroy Jenkins is coming for us. Stay until the end. We're doing a bunch of giveaways of Fantasy Grounds, Isle of Champions and Realms, Tabletop Loot Dice, PHBs, and Mage Hand Press PDFs, so stick around for that. But without any further ado, I'll hand over to Sid, our MC for tonight, to take us away into the Museum of Tragedies.
Okay. So, backstory about what City of Mist is, because I work there and I have to do this. It's because I need you to know how cool this game is and go play it. City of Mist is like a detective mystery style investigative noir narrative focused game where pretty much you can make up everything. It's a 2d6 system and you can add and take away things that you make up. It's all like, it's a very forgiving system, which I'm very grateful for today. So what we're going to be playing through is something that I wrote. It's homebrew. It's not like an actual module thingy, but there are some modules that you can go download on the website, and they're really fun too. But anyway, what we're doing today is we're going to be diving into the Museum of Great Tragedy. So the Museum of Great Tragedy is one of the less popular tourist attractions in the city. I'm sure you can see why people say that when you enter, you can feel this weight of sadness that sits upon your chest and just seems to linger for days. But after a series of strange murders that take place in this museum with seemingly no explanation, people are forced to investigate the unknown dangers that await inside. So, as we said when we introduced, we've got Speedy, who is going to be playing our curator. We've got Holter Gaming, who's going to be playing our EMT, and we've got the World Garage role player, who's going to be playing the PI. What we're going to do is we're going to start by building some connections, because it's a one shot, and obviously you guys just made these characters for right now, so let's, you know what I'm saying. So what's happening here is the crew has been called in to participate in an ongoing investigation. So a lot of the legwork has already been done, and people are just going to need to fill you in when you get there. So what your task is to stake out the museum with the aid of the curator, who's going to help you navigate through the building at a moment's notice if something were to go wrong. But all in all, it kind of sounds like it's going to be an uneventful night of staring at computer screens and security cameras and waiting for nothing to happen. So let's build up how you know each other. I want to have like a little bit of a backstory scene with all of you. So I think who do we want to start with? Let's start with our private eye, Gibbs.
Hey.
Hi. So what's going to happen here? Tell me, how do you spend your days at this point? Now that you're off the police force, you're running things under your own hand. So what's your day like? What am I going to be interrupting?
One of those people that like I say that I'm a professional or like a full-time, something, but I'm actually not. Right? Like he claims to be a professional PI, but he's probably
and like widely known as very successful.
Yeah, widely considered himself a highly successful PI, but he's never actually done a job. He spends his days sort of on the couch, eating Cheetos and smoking a lot and drinking a lot of coffee and just sort of like wasting away his life. His like wife and kids have left him. He's lost his job, so like all he really cared about has gone. It may be that he has an old friend in Marcus, who's the curator of the place, and I can imagine him getting a call, and this might be like the only thing to drag him out of this, this depression, this like funk that he's in, where he's just doing nothing all day. The idea of like getting back to what I was somewhat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you are lounging on the couch, probably watching like Criminal Minds or Forensic Files.
Absolutely, it's the Forensic Files episode.
Forensic Files.
It's the Forensic Files.
Yeah.
So we found the killer. Yeah.
You your phone rings, which is a startling sound for you.
Ah, shit. I look at it like it's an alien device and pick up. It's one of the things where he hasn't spoken in like a couple of days, and when you like first wake up and you forget like how to speak properly, it's like, hey, hello,
Gibbs.
Gibbs. Oh, is it you? I thought you were saying it was me calling.
I love it.
So into it.
I'm sorry. I was just so ready.
Yeah.
Gibbs was narrating me in, but you were narrating yourself in, so.
Yeah. Yep.
I got two phone calls at the same time.
Yeah, let's clarify. The person calling you is your old partner.
Okay.
From before? No one else? And, you answer the call, and you hear a familiar voice of Agent Parker, who you used to work with back in the day, who is still a part of the force and has sort of outrun your legacy. And she says, hey, how you doing?
Hey. Yeah, Gibbs sort of, he's taken aback a minute that she's calling him. Also, big shout out to the Sage, Babi for the raid. Welcome in, friends. We're an hour free of the 48-hour D&D stream. Welcome in. We're just starting a new game. You joined in at the perfect time. But yes, I think for a minute and I'm like, hey, hey, how's it going? I didn't expect to hear from you. What's up?
Yeah, I'm good. I just, I need your help.
My help?
Yeah,
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm ready to help in the way I can.
right. Well, I've got a little bit of bad news.
Bad news. I don't think anything you could say could make things worse for me. Well, that sounds depressing.
You remember when we all started, and you and me, and do you remember Brandon Cage when we were all entry-level officers?
I mean, kinda.
We used to
Brandon.
sit together, and we would get our coffee together. We usually took breaks
Sure.
together, but
It's been a while, but yeah.
right. He's been murdered.
What?
They found his body at that, you know, the really creepy museum that like no one goes to. They've been trying to shut down.
I go there all the time. Yeah, no, I used to take my kids there.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense.
I know it. I've been there, not for a while. It's a couple of years. He died there?
Yes, something weird's been going on. We've been looking into it, but I would really appreciate it if you got down here. It seems that I feel like I'm not getting much out of the team. They don't see what I see.
Okay. Well, sure, I can head down. Is there anyone else on the case?
There's a couple, but they're all new. You wouldn't know them.
Sure, yeah, no. Not really in the loop these days, but I'll head down there too. But now?
Yeah, as soon as possible, and I'll fill you in on everything you need to know. But just hurry.
Yeah, no worries. I'll get right down there. Anything for Brandon. I look at myself and I catch myself in the mirror as I'm heading out, and I see just how terrible I look, and I dive into a shower, throw on a not clean but cleaner than what I'm wearing set of clothes, and drive down to the Museum of Great Tragedies.
Okay, so the next person I want to introduce, just so we all have a little bit of context of who we are and why we're here, we're going to go over to our EMT, Rachel. So, hello. So, we'll start the same way. Rachel, tell me, what do you normally do in a day? What am I interrupting here?
So Rachel is a late night responder, EMT / paramedic. So she's used to getting all the bad calls at the end of the night, the drug overdoses, the fights, the bar fights at the end of the night, stuff like that she's been getting called out to a lot. And she's noticed a kind of a trend where it actually seems to be happening more and more, where people are getting more anxious and there's more anxiety and more ball fights, more brawls and things like that. So she's really getting very good at learning the city, the streets, and the ropes from that. And she has recently found an ability to sort of mend bones and heal that are not of the normal, wrapping a bandage around something and sort of giving it like the, okay, you're going to be fine kind of a deal. And she's very excited and nervous and scared for her, because she's young and she's just, she just finished school, and like all of these things are just sort of happening very, very fast.
Right, yeah. So at this point it is probably about 4 a.m. And you are burning the midnight oil. You've got a fresh pot of coffee, and
driving, but this is the kind of drinking and driving you're allowed to do.
Yeah. And you get a call to respond to something at the museum. which is extremely strange considering, you know, what we've just talked about. You usually go to bars or, you know, like bad neighborhoods or things like that. So to go to a museum at 4 a.m. when it's like not open and no one should be there is very strange. So when you pull up, you see flashing lights, and then there's people around, like talking into walkie-talkies, and people yelling, and caution tape being put up. But it's a really busy scene that you walk into.
All right. Oh, thankfully Rachel has a lot of contacts in the local police enforcement and in forensics and judges and just all of those things where she's made these connections. So she will step out of the vehicle and, of course, you know, turn off and do whatever she needs to do, and then go to someone, a face maybe that she might be familiar with that might be taping up the area that she could go to say, what is going on? This is crazy. This isn't my normal call.
As soon as you do that, you see a familiar friend. We'll call him, I don't know, Garrett. You see Garrett, and he, you know, like at that point, he just immediately like tosses down the tape and grabs you by the wrist and says, "Thank God, the rest of the ENTs are in here." And he like drags you inside and like quickly is running to get you.
Okay. All right, Garrett. Calm down. What's going on? Tell me what's going on. I can't help without knowing.
As he's running, he's like running out of breath, but he's trying to say, they found there's two bodies, and they're on the floor, and they're bleeding, and they need somebody, and they can't help them, and that's why we called you, because nobody else could help them. And he's still running. All
right, Garrett,
he's taking you down a corridor.
Calm down.
And brings you in, and you see exactly what was described. You see two bodies, one of a man who's in the uniform of a security guard, and another who's in like a workman's jumper, like a janitor's uniform. And they are next to each other, almost on top of each other, just surrounded by a puddle of blood.
Okay, so it's let's look and see who's got who looks the worst from the puddle of blood group. They both look equally awful. Are they talking? You know, like she's gonna do her, you know, the quick check. How do they seem? Do they seem out of it? Are they talking? Are they conscious?
Yeah, one of them you can tell has been dead a little bit longer. His blood is not, you know, quite as fresh. It's not like cute and fresh. It's like crusty.
Fresh pot.
So you're like let's not focus on the crusted, dusted, busted over here. We're gonna focus on fresh homie over here, who's you know like, fresh cut. So
that's easy triage then. That guy's dead. Let's focus on the lab first.
Let's focus on this guy. So meta-wise here, normally at someone at this stage, you would probably be able to heal. But most people probably not. But this guy, you got a good feeling. You might be able to do something.
Okay, so I've just tried to, you know, I'm sure there's people watching, or maybe there's, I don't know what's going on around me, because I've tried to do this as subtly as possible by doing the normal, like, hey, what's your name? How you doing? And getting out my stethoscope or whatever you do and listen to the heart. And then while I'm doing that, sort of, I don't know, I'm not a real paramedic. Just kind of, so what happened here? What happened here? While I'm doing that, putting the right hand kind of like under the arm and just sort of doing a heel or a mend broken bone or whatever's going on with this person while trying to get information.
So he's having a very hard time talking. It's like very guttural, and maybe he has some internal bleeding and is unable to really catch his breath. And that might be a fun time to roll. So, let's talk about rolling for a second. Now, I'm not an expert, but like we said earlier, City of Mist is a 2d6 system. And when you make your character, you make up these little things called power tags, which are kind of similar to like skills in D&D, but like not really. But let's have a baseline where we can like connect. You know what I'm saying?
I can relate to D&D. It helps.
Yes. So there you go. So your power tags are things that you make up that are like tiny aspects about your character and what they do and how they act and things like that. You literally make them up. So it can be as vague or weird or whatever as you want. And so when you are going to be rolling something, you can add 3 power tags, which can give you like up to +3 advantage. So if you can find 3 that you made up that you think would help you in this, you can add 3 to it. There's more to it, but that's as far as they're explaining it right now.
Okay, so I've got, I don't know what's wrong. Mend broken bones, would that be appropriate?
Yeah.
And then heal wounds and cure ailments. When I think of ailments, I think of like any sort of confusion or like dizzying, all like head wounds. I think of that. I think of ailments. So I don't know if that would count too. And I just add 3 to that, or I add 3 more dice.
Just 3, like flat 3. The number is a number 3.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
So 11.
Okay. Yes, 11 is great. This actually is. It's a great success. So
yay!
What you're able to do here is you are holding him in like a specific way. There's a lot of chaos going on, so people aren't really paying that much attention. Yeah. So there's something strange here that you notice.
Okay.
You can feel a lot of your energy going into this, which is normally a sign to you that it's working, but it doesn't seem like the blood is slowing, which is extremely strange. It doesn't seem like a lot of his confusion is being alleviated, which is also strange. What you do get out of him is he grabs you and is trying to talk, and the only words that he can get out is painting.
Painting?
Painting.
So you're just under a lot of duress right now. Just keep calm, stay quiet, don't try to speak too much. It's gonna be okay.
He's like trying to reach up and like almost like grab your cheeks and look you in the eye to say painting, and that's all he can get out.
Okay, it's okay. It's gonna be okay, sir. It's gonna be all right. Is he still not taking any of these heals either? Like they're not working?
No. The most you could get was like the fact that you got him to the point where he was able to speak is actually quite impressive, because
but not to me though. Not to me. I'm like this.
You
wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Like everyone else, like would be like blown away by the fact that you were able to achieve just that, because they didn't think they were going to get his like dying declaration or whatever that was. So yeah. So that's what you have in them, and you're there at 4 a.m. 2 dead bodies, lots of blood, and the only clue you've got is the verb painting.
Okay. Well, she's gonna stay with him. That's what she does. So just keep trying.
Let's see. And now the next person we're gonna get into and get a little connection action going on here. Now we go to the curator, Marcus.
Ooh.
So, Marcus, we're actually going to take you a little bit further back than this night to start. Tell me what
1985.
Tell me what you do as a curator. How do you get new artifacts? What's your usual process there in collecting something new and like reviving it, restoring it, and then putting it on display?
So for a lot of the like kind of older artifacts, a lot of it comes down to like there are like archaeological digs that usually take place and stuff like that. He'll occasionally make like big trips to other countries and get a chance to look at artifacts. A lot of things are often donated. Usually it's when someone dies who had like a particularly large private collection. and a lot of times it's people who like already knew the museum pretty well. But occasionally there are some people who like don't specify it in their will, in which case like it can go up to auction, or like if they say they want it to go to a charitable cause, like Marcus will have to like reach out and kind of coordinate with a few different people, or like kind of fight over it between a few different museums, argue why it's best suited for the Museum of Tragedy. He generally looks for things that are ruined already, like things that in any other museum would look absolutely terrible on like their shelves and displays and everything, that people think would be impossible to restore, because he knows that he can actually just undo most of the kind of wear and tear that time has put onto it. So that's the kind of thing that he tends to go for. And then as for like how he goes about the process of like putting it up and restoring it, he basically just has like an office where all he really has to do is just put his hands on an object and focus on it for a few hours, and it'll start to restore. The downside to that is that it's not permanent, anything that he does. If he puts his hand on something for a second, it'll stay like that for a couple minutes maybe. If he does it for a few hours, it'll stay like that for a few days. So he has to periodically go around to different things in the museum and make sure they're being upkept.
Gotcha. Okay. So one day when you are in your office at the museum, it's a slow day. There usually are slow days at the Museum of Great Tragedy. Sometimes, for some reason, people don't really want to bring their families in here on a Sunday afternoon, except unless you're Gibbs, and then you're weird and you do that.
I don't think Gibbs is a great parent, from what it seems. So,
well,
like,
what right? We've established that he doesn't have a wife and kids anymore. Right?
Yeah, I got like Gibbs got wrapped up in all the mythos stuff so much that he like lost identity.
From the museum and just taking him here.
Yeah. So you get a call. Similar to everybody else, you get a call. It's from a number that you don't recognize. Presumably it's some like tourist inquiring about what the fuck this is.
what are your hours, all that, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you do this? So,
it's on the website.
Turn it on and off again. So, your phone rings.
Hello?
Hi, is this the SAD Museum?
It's the Museum of Great Tragedy, but yes.
Great. So, my grandmother just passed away and left me a bunch of really weird stuff that I really do not want in my house. It's making me like feel weird. So if you like want to come do something about it before I take it away, like if you could take care of it, that would be great.
What kind of things are we talking about here? Is this just old affections, or is it antiques? Things of some value?
There's like a bunch of stuff. Like she was just a really weird person, and I've got these like creepy paintings and like these weird letters and like
give me the address, I'll be right there.
So she gives it to you. It's actually fairly close. And as you pull up, she greets you outside. This is a very cheery, like white picket fence, front yard garden type of place. So she brings you in. She's like, "Hi, I'm Jessica. Are you the person I spoke to on the phone?"
Yes, Marcus LeVay. Nice to meet you.
Great. Okay, so basically, today a bunch of stuff was dropped off at my house. I did not know it was going to be left to me. I don't want it here. It's making everybody feel uncomfortable. Something about it. All of it. It's just strange. So if you could just take it, I don't care what you do with it.
I'll have a look. I'll see what would be fitting in the museum. I can't guarantee I'll take it all.
Great. So she brings you inside and offers you a drink, tea, lemonade, a white wine spritzer, whatever.
I'll have a tea, thank you.
So she brings it over, and she brings you into her living room, which is now riddled with old stuff. Which to you, it's like a gold mine. There's paintings. There's like envelopes that look as if they've been aged quite a bit. There's even a giant grand piano that has it's wooden and obviously has been rotting, has had some water damage as well. But the one thing that you're really, really drawn to is this painting that's got some water damage, but it seems to be an oil painting of some woman in Victorian era wear who is clutching her chest and crying.
This is of the caliber I would expect to have in my museum. Needs some restoration. Do you know who the painter might be?
She's in the kitchen tidying things up, and she says, yeah, so it actually is a painting of and by my creepy great-great-grandmother. It's been passed down, but it kind of no one wants it. I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing, but every time I walk by it, I don't know. I just feel bad, and I don't need that.
Your great-grandmother, what was her name?
Sarah.
Last name?
Sarah Durrigan. And she's calling out as she's doing dishes and making sure everything is still put together. She wasn't really much of a painter, but she got into some weird habits. There's that one, and then there's one more, but it's been chewed and stuff. And so as you look around, there is one more painting, but it's it doesn't have the same effect. It doesn't have the same pull to it. It's just colors on a board. There's nothing really. There's no emotion behind it. This one has something.
Is the name that she said of any note that I would be aware of?
No.
I guess,
this is not a person who is a known artist or who has some incredible history that everybody knows about.
Very well. I'll take it all.
Oh my god. Great. Okay. So, she packs up some stuff for you, and she's like, you know what? I think I can call a moving van over later and bring the rest of it, but right now, can you just take this thing out? And gives you the painting, and along with some other stuff, a bunch of letters that have been tied and bound, and a letter opener to go on top of them. And she's like, this one thing actually has kind of a cool story. I know some of it. I think you need it for the descriptions or whatever that you have on museum stuff.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Okay, so the painting is, I said of and by my great whatever grandmother. So the sad thing is that she was married, right?
It's generally not a sad thing.
She looks guilty, and she's like, right. Twisting her wedding ring. Right. Great thing. So, right. So she was married, and then it was so sad her husband died, and so she went on this weird, creepy painting spree, painted this one, and then right after that she died too. So it was a broken heart sort of thing, super sad. And you can even see it in the painting. She's got his wedding ring on a necklace. So sad.
It is a tragedy worthy of retelling. But it is not all bad. Despite her loss, great tragedy, family lines spawned, and so came you.
I guess it's true. Whatever. Yeah.
This is why the Museum of Tragedy exists, to remind us that even through great sadness, there's beauty and rebirth to be found. You should come by sometime if you haven't.
Yeah, totally. That sounds so fun and great.
Anyways, I will take these items. You can send the remainder in the moving truck to this address. And I give her the address for my home, where I have my own personal collection.
Okay. Okay.
The rest are going to be used.
Yeah, so what you've got here is this painting. You've got some letters that seem mundane, and you also have a letter opener that's been dulled, and it's kind of crusty, but they come in a set. And the rest of it goes to your personal collection. And so after you've set these things up, in the exhibit of Broken Hearts, this painting is in there. You've got the description upon it, and then you start receiving even more complaints than usual about the museum being sad and creepy. Which maybe to you is actually just a compliment.
I add an extra epithet saying she is survived by her daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter, who all live happy lives. Or something to that effect.
Yeah, something.
I imagine, actually, a lot of the complaints about creepy things, I probably give tours of the museum. I don't imagine there's a whole lot of employees here. So I'm probably the one giving some people tours and trying to explain how this is a beautiful work of art, and people are just and then leave an anonymous note in
the suggestion box.
The suggestion box, that painting
sucks. Yeah. And so not long after this, there's an attendee who comes in alone and is just browsing. He declines the offer for a tour and says that he wants to navigate on his own. And time passes, and you don't see him exit. He comes in, goes into the east wing, never comes out the west wing. And so, for a moment, you're able to chalk it up to maybe he's captivated by something, understandably so. You've curated a lot of fantastic items. But hours go by, and he never comes out.
I begin to investigate, starting with the old literatures and poems. I know a lot of people get caught staring at the typewriter of Sylvia Plath for inexplicable periods of time.
So there's no one here. It's a very slow day. He's probably one of two attendees that have come in. The other one has already come and gone. Yeah, as you're walking and looking for him, you can hear the haunting echo of your own footsteps as no one is here to absorb the sound.
Strange. I imagine walking past that painting and just sort of feeling like it's watching me for a moment and then walking past. I will chalk it up to I must have just missed him somehow. I'll check the footage on the security cameras, which we have very few of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, as you actually are turning the corner close to the exit of the West Wing, which, out of your peripheral vision, you can see the exhibit of broken hearts. You see just around the corner what looks to be like shoes or a foot or something. You can't see much beyond that, but as if maybe someone is laying down.
I curiously start to step forward and look.
As you walk closer, you can see more that it's not just shoes. It's the whole shebang, a body, and it's a similar scene that this man is surrounded in a pool of his own blood. It looks like his throat has been slit, and next to his body is the new letter opener that you have put on display.
Oh my god. I immediately call the police, and then right after that, start looking around at anything that's out of place in this room, not really paying attention to the people, more paying attention to the things.
Right. So it doesn't look like anything else has been moved other than this letter opener, which has obviously been moved and obviously been used. And the police get there and clean up the scene and take care of everything, take in the body and take in evidence. And they tell you that you can reopen the museum, but they ask you to close off this exhibit in case there's anything they need to come back for, and it might be contaminated. So you are allowed to reopen the museum, have people come back in, but this exhibit is closed off. The only people who are allowed in here as of now are you, a security guard, and a janitor. And then weeks later, you're the only one who's still alive. And so fast forward to this night. We've got Gibbs on the way. We've got Rachel Summers, who's already here, tried to heal him, didn't work. And we've got Marcus, who comes in for work and sees a lot of caution tape. So, where we're going to start is with Gibbs and our EMT and Marcus speaking to our lead investigator, Agent Parker.
Parker, what are you doing back here? I thought we agreed that you would let me know anytime that you came in and did more investigation.
It's not more investigation on the old case, Marcus. You've got 2 more dead bodies in the same exhibit. We told you to close it off.
I did close it off. Right?
You did.
Okay. There's a barrier, there's a velvet rope and everything. No one could possibly get in.
Great! Well, someone did. And we think it's the same person who got in the first time.
Well,
let me fill the rest of you in. So far, in the past month, we've had 3 men, all in their early 30s, murdered. The first was an attendee. His name was James Parks. He came alone, came in, never came out. Marcus here was the only one there. Called us, reported the body. There was no evidence found other than the letter opener with no DNA upon it. So, Marcus here closed off the exhibit. We let him reopen, so long as none of the potential evidence would get contaminated. The only people that were allowed in there were security guard Brandon Cage and the janitor Andy Grover. So last night, sometime around midnight, the same story happened to Brandon. This morning, Andy came in to clean. Same thing happened to him. We're called in here. We find nothing.
I'm here at this point as well, Sid.
Yeah, you're all here.
Okay. Well, shit. Hey, Marcus, good to see you again. How's business? All right.
Been pretty grave lately.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we got a couple of dead guys. Anyone else work here? Then ones that are dead, then you?
Me. Yeah. No. Then.
Hey, did you kill him?
No.
Hey. Good. So, whereabouts were you at last night?
Home.
You want
Sleeping.
to corroborate that story?
Only the walls of my home and the many artifacts within.
Right.
So no.
Okay. Just setting things clear. So we all know where we're at. So Parker, how much leeway do we have here?
You can take as much as you want, honestly. I'm getting nothing out of these younger kids. You know how it is.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, I noticed that Rachel is here. Hey, nice to meet you, Russell Gibbs, PI.
Nice to meet you, Russell. I'm kind of taking care of this gentleman on the floor here. Is he? How is he? Is he alive at this point, or is he just
Super
done?
bloody and dead.
Oh,
Super
well,
dead.
never mind. I'm not taking care of this guy on the floor anymore. So I stand up and
Look, this guy.
kind of like you take off my gloves or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you, Russell. I'm Rachel. I got called on the scene. I don't recognize you. I'm pretty familiar with the local authorities around here. I haven't seen you around.
PI. So, work off the grid, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, Agent Parker like raises an eyebrow at you and is like, "Really? Like this is the story that you're going with now of what you do?"
Hey, I'm here, aren't I?
That's right.
So, Rach, you got a clear cause of death? A weapon? Maybe?
These guys are completely wounded beyond capacity that I can even fathom what could have happened here in the museum. It's like they were, I don't know, shredded apart.
They look like like a bear attack or something?
In a museum? This isn't the Natural History Museum.
I'm just saying, there's some pretty crazy shit I've seen. Does it look like an animal, or does it look like someone did this?
I don't know what did this. This was not an animal attack. I wouldn't even think that a person could do this. It's
Right.
literally like they were shredded.
The first victim, we found this bloody and old letter opener next to him. We took it in. Obviously, it's in evidence.
A letter opener.
But we don't know what was used for these last two.
That's interesting.
No weapon on the scene.
A letter opener
Nothing.
wouldn't do this,
No
surely.
weapon that could do this.
Something that they left behind is like a calling card, or is important to them that they left the letter opener behind, then. Because you don't cut someone to ribbons with, your granny's letter opener.
That's the first thing they teach you on the
With
floor.
someone's grandmother's.
That's the first thing they
101.
boot camp. It's the first thing you learn when you're a PI like me. So, All right then. I kind of rub in my face. Marcus, anything weird been going on here? I mean, aside from obviously the serial murders, if you noticed some weird shit. I mean, this place is kind of creepy, but anything out of the usual?
Nothing leading up to this. No, I mean, people were complaining about that painting being creepy for a few days before the first murder, but since that section's been cordoned off, no, nothing out of the ordinary.
That's weird. The gentleman that unfortunately I was unable to save, who was still alive, whispered painting to me several times. But I figured the gallery, there's probably all kinds of paintings here.
Yeah, what kind of paintings you got here? Or which one might he be talking about? This particular creepy one?
You didn't give me
given the exhibit right now, it would be the same. I know Brandon wasn't a huge fan of it either, but I didn't think he spited it enough that he would use his dying breath to curse it.
Maybe the last thing he saw.
Where is this painting?
Yeah, let's see what the painting looks like. What is it of? Is it of people dying?
It's right there.
Oh yeah, okay.
And what is it of? It's a painting of...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Remind me what the painting is actually of.
It's an old Victorian woman with, her husband died and she started painting her sadness away for years. The portrait there is of herself. The ring around her neck was her husband's. There's nothing much more to it than that, other than just the extraordinary sadness she felt when she painted it. That sort of emotion comes through.
Is there a letter opener or a letter in the painting that I could see?
What?
Not that you can see, but there's a hand behind her back in the painting.
Okay. That is a fucking creepy
Also,
photo. Painting. I can see what you're talking about.
Upon further inspection, as you casually note that the ring around her neck is her husband's, as you catch a glimpse of it, there's not one ring around her neck. There's 4.
I point towards the rings and look to Marcus and say, hey, you know history and shit. Why is she wearing 4 rings?
What do you mean? She's not wearing 4 rings. She's...
Yeah, around her neck.
She was only wearing 1 when I got this painting. Brandon, was he married?
Parker chimes in. She says, yeah, to Sharon. She was a good friend. They were coming up on their 30 years.
And the others?
I think so. I'm not the lead on this investigation. I'd have to go look, but
yeah. It might be worth looking into. Give a long look at the... I'm recently divorced.
Okay.
So, so you know, painting.
Are there rings on their fingers? Brandon and Andy's?
They don't have ring fingers anymore.
Ooh. Also, figured a world anvil for the raid. Welcome in, friends. We're on our 48-hour stream. This is our, I don't know, 4 or 5, I guess, and we're
all mysteries.
City of Mist, and we're investigating some murders. If you're new, stick around. We're giving away thousands of dollars worth of giveaways today. PHBs, dice, Fantasy Grounds licenses. Stick around, my friends, and you'll be entered to the giveaway. So, in what way do they not have ring fingers? Like, have they just been... Is the hand mauled, or is it just the ring finger which has been removed in some way?
There are gashes on the backs and palms of their hand and cuts along all of them. but from the base, their ring fingers have been cut off.
Yeah. You see that? Someone clearly targeted these guys, killed them, took the rings, and either there's some weird shit going on with that painting, or perhaps even stranger. And I mean, maybe we have to check a photo, make sure your mind's not playing tricks on you, Marcus, because I mean, it's lonely and dark around here. Maybe you're forgetting something, but if she really did only have one ring, maybe they painted the extra rings on after they killed them.
Has to be just the painting was messed with.
Was there someone, Marcus, who had some sort of connection with this painting that would want to do that?
Or someone that fits the profile, maybe. We're definitely looking at something weird.
Well, I mean, there's the girl I got it from. She seemed nice enough. No, she didn't seem like she ever wanted to pay a visit to this museum. She didn't seem like she ever wanted to come see this painting ever again. She doesn't have any kind words for her marriage, though.
Got a name?
Do you have her name? And it was a right.
Jessica Derringer.
So, Parker writes this down.
Jessica Derringer.
Yeah, I'll look into that. But there's why don't we let them clean up in here? And there's another thing I want to show you. It's weird.
Okay.
Marcus, how often do you look at your security tapes?
When there's a murder.
So pretty often.
3 times.
Yeah.
3 times ever.
Every few years there's a murder.
I'll check them.
Do you think you could tell me how reliable they are?
I mean, not very. We don't get much money donate to this museum. It's mostly just new works of art.
Right. Well, then this is probably something just to do with faulty cameras, but just come see it.
Let's take a look.
Great.
Cameras might have caught something.
So she is walking you through, and she gets sort of twisted and turned in this maze of sadness. But eventually you find your way to the room with all the screens, and there's a tech engineer who's there already trying to download them, fix them, like correct the fuzziness, and nothing is really helping. But she comes in and she says, "Hey, can you rewind it to show them last night?" And I'm sorry, I started hearing myself twice. Like,
I think it's Ellie, possibly from your speakers.
One moment, please.
No worries.
Did that just start too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. I wonder why. Let me just do a refresh.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. So it pulls you in, and there's some screens and blah 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 blah. Oh, and he rewinds them so you can see around 12:09 last night. So you see Brandon, the security guard, who comes in, and he looks over to the left. You can't really make out his face or expression because it's very scratchy. It's obviously not great quality, but he starts to run off in the opposite direction, and then there's a strange static over the film and a loud, like, fuzzy white noise for about 10 seconds. And then seconds later, the camera comes back. The sound's gone. Brandon is on the floor, bleeding out.
Okay. So, this is looking more and more sophisticated. These things go on the fritz often?
It's not uncommon.
Pretty fucking coincidental, if you ask me, though.
Yeah, the exact moment. I'd say so.
Super suspecting Marcus not being involved in this.
Oh, looking so good for you, Marcus.
Yeah. That's real weird. I mean, we're looking at a team.
You make
here,
copies
right?
of these, right?
Of course, yeah. We're trying to clean it up.
Do you mind if I take a look at this? Do you mind if we have a look at this privately?
Sure.
Great secrets.
Go right ahead. And she picks up the engineer and by the shirt collar, and they walk out and shut the door behind them.
I take out the tape, and I want to try to use my mythos ability to restore the tapes.
Okay.
So
you get all the tapes, and you could stick a pencil in them and like wind them back, and like the tapes would.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I imagine these are definitely still like tapes, not.
What if they were like? What if you were like, Gibbs? This is a DVD. What are you doing? Are you sticking a pencil in a DVD?
Who replaced this with my
around.
DVD? Yeah.
Yes,
So
I like it.
Power tags that apply. Heals all wounds, mundane objects, and that's probably it.
Okay.
So 86 plus 2. That is 6 total.
Well,
No,
it's
wait.
an 8, right? Because you.
It's 8, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, not great. Not great. Not like bad, but not like great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should.
I take out the tapes. I like lay my hands on them, and I try to pretend like I'm just like rolling them back or something, or doing something to fix them. But really, what I'm doing is using magical powers.
Right. Mm-hmm. So,
and I put it back in.
Here, yeah, keep in mind here that there are, separate tapes here from everyone. You've only watched one, and you've only attempted this on one.
Yeah.
So, you put it back in, and it's not that different. The static is still there. There's and the white noise is still loud and sort of blurring out everything else. You can almost hear like a muttering of a conversation, but you can't really make out the words that well. There, you can tell that there are things being spoken. Especially, you can tell when people are screaming, but you can't make out like the conversation that takes place in the seconds before that. And as far as visually, that's not really cleared up at all.
Okay. So you got a few tricks up your sleeve there as well, Marcus. I'm thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, Miss Summers, but we've got to be looking at least at a team of people behind this, more than one person. Someone's cutting out the cameras, and there's probably the woman involved who feels a connection to this woman in the painting, or somehow maybe is even related to her and feels like she's taking out some kind of justice. We should look for like crazy artists because she might have painted on these extra rings. And then we've probably got someone who's powerful enough, probably male, to overcome 3 healthy guys in their 30s, and then together they slaughter them.
That
So,
last part was a little sexist, don't you think?
I mean,
I assure you there are plenty of examples in this museum of
shredded
wrath that
apart.
women can exact.
yeah, I don't know many guys or girls, but if I had to put my money on it, I'd say it was a man. Statistics would suggest the same as well. So,
I don't know.
Marcus, you know anyone that you seem pretty good on these tapes here. Yeah, so you'd be able to like throw out static and mess up a clip a little bit if someone asks you to, or paid you enough money.
No. Why would I want to do
Okay.
that?
Asking.
No, but the only person I can think of who might have some connection and want to do something like this would be Jessica, the great-granddaughter of the painter of that painting, owner of that letter opener.
How did she seem?
I mean, she seemed normal enough, mostly just like she wanted to be rid of all of it. She didn't want any connection to that painting or her past.
Okay. Was she married?
Yes. Didn't seem overly happy with her husband from the one offhand comment she made. I can't attest
Did you see the
to...
husband? Did you meet him?
No.
Did you see any photos of the two of them?
Don't think so, no.
Okay. Well,
Would you like to go talk to her? I can
I'd
bring
love
you
to.
there.
I'd love to talk to this woman. I think that's
It's
probably
4
the
o'clock in
next.
the morning. Are we going to go interrupt somebody's house at 4 o'clock in the morning?
When 3 people that have died in the same way, yeah, we're gonna fucking knock on
There's
her
no way
door
a
until she
person
wakes up.
A machine, maybe? Something? I can't wrap my head
Hey.
around this. This is nuts.
I've seen some things that most people wouldn't believe. It's possible this is one of those things, or, I mean, chainsaws are a fucking thing, like an industrial machinery that they could bring in. I don't know. There are ways to chop up people. The meat grinders. It's not easy. Certainly not in that amount of time. That's what's crazy. I mean,
there are
it cut out for
certainly...
like 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, about
And then
10
it was
seconds.
like-
The one that you've seen, there are 2 more that you haven't checked out yet.
Okay, yeah, we should watch
No,
this.
let's look at those.
Roll it.
So,
Let's look at more evidence.
yeah. So, with the first one, which is the first victim, which is James, you see him come in on his own. He's in about the same spot that Brandon was in, and takes a very long look towards the left. That is the wall that the painting is on, but you can't see the actual wall. The camera doesn't pan far enough. So he stares at it for a very long time. It looks like maybe his face is moving, like he's saying something, but it's so blurry you can't really tell. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell if he looked happy or sad or something. You just see vague movement. And then after that, it's a very similar scene where he starts to run. There's static that covers the screen, very loud white noise, which at this point you can't make out a conversation because Marcus hasn't doctored this one at all. So just a loud white noise, and then you see the scene that Marcus walked up on. And so that happens, cuts out for 10 seconds, come back, and then a while later Marcus comes around the corner. You see his reaction, and then the scene plays out after that.
I told you I didn't do it, right? You believe that, right?
Nope.
What are you talking about?
Let's watch the next one. See how he looked at the painting?
Yeah, but people look at paintings. You know,
I mean,
it's another painting.
That was a long look towards that painting, and then he ran away from the painting, and then it was static. He died. Marcus shows up a few seconds later.
You think a painting killed somebody?
No, I think there was someone by the painting, maybe.
Okay. Is there anything
Wait, I
like
didn't show
with
up
the
a few
walls
seconds later,
then?
did I?
What about the
No,
walls? Is there, like, openings behind the walls where the painting was, or anything like that? We can get a really good look at it, but
Oh yeah, we're gonna take down that painting in a minute. Don't worry, we'll take a look.
okay.
Yeah, was it a few seconds later, or did he arrive like hours later?
No, it was hours later.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But you know, I'm assuming he would know that and would fast forward
Right, yeah.
to the part to prove his innocence.
All right, that doesn't prove anything.
That conversation though, it seems like both of them were talking to the painting.
Right, let's see if
Talking
the
to
third
something
one
that
does it.
wasn't.
3 times, that's no coincidence, right? I looked at Rachel. There's no way 3 people would just look at a painting, speak to it for a second, and then die. 2 people, maybe. 3 people.
Not even 2 people.
Not even 2.
Not unless something, maybe if something was released from behind the painting, maybe a gas, maybe something that would have made people react some sort of unusual way. I have seen people poisoned before. I have seen weird things at clubs. There's this new drug going around that causes hallucinogenic effects where people act off.
All right, let's watch the third one and see. Play it.
So this one is slightly different. It's this is Andy, the janitor, who comes in, and he just turns the corner to the exhibit. He is not facing the wall, he's facing the body that's on the ground. And so he rushes over and is assessing the situation, and then you see his head turn towards the wall. A similar detectable movement, and then the same thing. Loud static, completely blurred screen, cut out for 10 seconds, and then you see him on the ground. But there's something that you notice. So keep in mind here, Andy was wearing a janitor's uniform, whereas the others might have been wearing a jacket, a coat, something of the sort. So there's nothing really to disguise if there's something that changes. So in his front pocket, which above it is his name tag, which was able to be clearly seen in the footage at the beginning, is now covered up by what looks to be like a piece of paper or something, as maybe something has been placed into his pocket that was not there in the 10 seconds before the static happened.
Yeah, I think we like rewind and like pause on that bit and like enhance, and it totally doesn't enhance.
Yeah.
Or like zoom in on like the blurry 2 pixels that we have of that. That looks like a note or a letter. What do you say?
Literally anything with his name tag and wasn't there seconds before.
Right. They killed him, placed the letter there, and then the letter opener was then placed on the third body tonight.
No, the letter
Or is that
opener
found
is
earlier?
still in police custody.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first kill was the letter opener, the second was the letter. Second and third, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we gotta find out what the fuck's going on with that letter, and I think Jessica's gonna be the one to be able to tell us maybe a little bit more about her old granny. I mean, are we even sure this woman's dead?
Her great-grandmother? This woman was in her, 30s. I certainly hope that her great-grandmother has passed by now. Of misery.
Well, it depends how much we believe the story, I guess.
I suppose.
Let's speak with Jessica while everyone's here on the scene, and we're going to come back when it's a little quieter. I think we're going to take a look around the painting itself.
You might want
See if
to take a
there's
look
anything on it.
at that note in Andy's pocket. Well,
Yeah.
if it's still there.
Yeah, see if it's still there, yeah.
For the record, Sid, I imagine I would have read like the letters that I got from Jessica. What was in them?
The letters are pretty mundane. They're written in the hands of her great whatever grandmother. So they're all signed by Sarah in like a calligraphy signature. But most of them are pretty mundane. They're like letters to her sister, letters to her mom, updates about her life, and then there's a final one that's quite tragic about how she's feeling after the passing of her husband, and then after that there's no more.
Okay, so the only ones I would have had on display were probably the happiest of the ones from before and the very sad one.
Yeah, like next to each other.
Yeah,
as we're like looking into the exhibition sort of thing.
Yeah.
Did she say how he died?
No, I don't think so.
Huh. Strange. You know what I'm thinking is either Jessica herself, someone related to this, or someone who's just read this and become entranced with the idea. Some fucking nut job, basically. Become obsessed with this idea and is trying to get revenge for this woman, or maybe, I don't know, become this woman by killing people, or maybe trying to make more of this woman by murdering women's husbands. And then
I'll be honest, there aren't many people who come through this museum with the same amount of appreciation and enthusiasm for the dour and tragic as I do.
I see that.
I'd like to think that there is someone who would care that much. Not that I would like them to be committing such a heinous act, but I somehow doubt that someone has truly found the meaning of her art so moving that they would kill.
Well, then the
It's
other
not that
thing
I-
is that the painting itself is cursed and has been, the soul of this woman has been doing it. And he says that quite seriously.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Stranger things have come through this museum.
The murder paintings?
Well, the painting is pretty weird. Got to be up there, top 3 at least.
Stranger things. I didn't say more dangerous things, although...
I mean, maybe everyone's just a little tired, and you guys have been up really late, and
Stranger Things. You know what? Let's see what that letter said. That might give us a clue.
Yes.
We find Agent Parker.
Okay.
Hey, Agent. You got that, we saw a note that was in Andy's pocket. Wanted to see if you'd retrieved it from the, crime scene investigation. Oh, you're muted.
Muted.
Hi. What's up? I'm back. So she looks very confused and says, I didn't see a note. What are you talking about?
There wasn't a note retrieved from the crime scene on Andy's body in his breast pocket.
Not that I saw.
Let's have a look.
Can we
Are the
check?
bodies still there?
Body's still there, right?
Yeah, they're still there.
Right.
I can get access
Rachel?
to that. I can look.
Yeah, Miss Summers?
Yeah. Well, that's what
So
I'm
you're-
here for.
You're gonna go in?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go in and Parker follows you and is just like looking very confused, says that this is a waste of time, and she says, "Did you see some sort of note when you were with them? I didn't see anything."
On the video? Yes. You didn't?
No, I maybe I'm just too tired, and she's
It's late.
wiping.
I wouldn't. It's very late. That's. This is usually the worst time for investigations because everyone's being called off and in out of their normal circadian rhythm. So it's just late. I wouldn't think too much of it. Well, we can check the bodies. I mean, we can get access to them, so that shouldn't be. We'll either be wrong or we'll be right. Maybe I saw something incorrectly, and you saw it right.
I don't know. I'm just so tired of working with these kids who don't care and just miss all of these things. Truthfully, I'm actually excited to have Gibbs back, which is almost sad.
Well, I've had to go to a couple of clubs, and there's been some a lot of drug overdoses lately. So I definitely understand what you're talking about with the kids.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't be dumping all this on you. It's 4 and I'm tired.
I totally totally understand.
So she takes you around the corner and lifts up the tape and says, "Go ahead."
Okay. So I go look at the janitor's body. Was it Brandon that who actually said painting to me?
The janitor.
Can I tell by the uniforms?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the janitor that did that, or it was the janitor that had said that?
It was the janitor who said that.
Okay. So then take a look at these pockets.
Mm-hmm. So there is a note poking out of it.
See? Not crazy.
So Parker
So
looks like totally
right,
bewildered.
so I hand it to Parker because that would be the proper procedures to hand it to her. We did see this, so this is yours for to review for evidence and to take back to. I'll come with you to take back to the group.
Mind if I take a look at that, Parker?
Oh, did he come in too?
Yes, I imagine they come around the corner.
Yeah.
Parker opens it up and says, this is a blank piece of paper. It probably just fell out of his pocket. It's completely blank. And hands it over to you.
Okay. Is it look at the piece of paper, it's not blank?
It's not blank.
Yeah, I give her a long look. Okay. As this is starting to ping on his sort of suspicion of this being mist-related. Michael at 26 months. Holy shit. Yeah, I gotta give her a nod and say thanks. I'll put it back in evidence as soon as we're done up. Take a look at it just in case there's any, I don't know, hidden messages, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And can you get me Jessica Derringer's phone number and address?
Oh yeah. We've been looking for it.
Yeah, if you can text me that or email me that. I am russell.gibbs@aol.com.
All right, I'll be sure to be on that. And if you find
can
anything
MSN
else,
me
let
as
me
well.
know.
Okay.
You still use MSN?
Uses AOL.
You don't?
No.
It's America's online portal. You know that, right?
Sorry, I guess I'm just not with the times. But if you do find anything else, let me know. I was really hoping that this weird letter theory would pan out to something. You can be the supervisor and give them clearance to investigate anything they need to do. I'll go get the phone number and send it to you on MSN.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to stick around here too. I'll let my people know that I'm going to stick around on the site.
So she turns back and walks away.
Yeah, I look to the other two. Does this letter look blank to you?
Does it look blank to me?
It does not. There's definitely writing on it.
She must be really tired.
Yeah, or something weird's going on. But let's say she's really tired. Let's read the letter and see what it says.
So this letter is very short. It's just like written on some tiny piece of paper, but a very like well written though. Like as far as the handwriting goes, it looks almost like print. But it's slightly smudged, as if it was done with a very wet ink, and not completely dry before it was folded and placed. And it just says, "Andrew, when you came to me, I felt as if someone would finally save me. I saw strength in you that made you irresistible, and I now realize that you were not here for me, but I will carry you by my heart, my love. Signed, Sarah."
Sarah, that's the grandma, right?
Yeah. And
Okay.
distinctly not Andy's wife.
Yeah. You see how she said, "By my heart," and the rings, I point back up to the painting, are around her neck, right by her heart. She's hoping that he's going to be the one to replace her dead husband, right? She's in a psychotic break where she thinks that she's lost someone probably close to her, probably her husband, whoever this woman is. And she may be even an artist as well. She's visited this museum before or become acquainted with it, maybe via a website or something. Become obsessed with the idea of replacing her husband, but in her own psychosis, she ends up killing him because he's not the real husband, and he can never replace her actual husband. Or we go with the other theory, which I really like, which is the creepy fucking old lady painting killed him.
I like the first one.
Yeah.
Makes more
I like the
sense.
second. I take a look
What
at
are you
the
talking
painting.
about?
For the record, if I like put my hand on like the painting where like the extra rings are and like feel it, it doesn't. They're not like freshly painted on, right? It looks like they've been there forever.
Yeah, they look equally aged, and they're not tacky as it like a new paint would be.
Those rings aren't new. They've been there the whole time, as far as any distinguished art appraiser would be able to tell.
Hmm.
They weren't added, they weren't painted by some fanatic. They just appeared.
You're completely certain that you got a photograph of when you got it, right?
Of course.
You place it there.
Pull out
Can
my
we see?
phone and take a look at a photograph.
In the photo, does
Does
it
the
have
photograph
one
have
ring
one or four?
Yeah.
The photo has one, the one ring.
Well, I'll be
See?
fucking there.
One ring.
To rule them all. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We need to talk to Jessica real quick.
As soon as you say that, your phone dings.
Yeah. Oh, it's
your
my
MSN update.
I take the number and I gotta call her.
It's just her address.
Oh, okay. She doesn't have a phone number? Like a landline? Okay.
You don't have it.
Oh.
I assume I would have it from the fact that she called me before.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's her number.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna call it.
I'm not going to answer at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's fucking creepy. Who knows?
Yeah.
I wake her up.
It rings and goes to voicemail.
All right, I'm making a road trip.
Yep. I don't leave a message. Well, I'm thinking, Cooper's thinking that he might alert her of, I'm a police officer and I'm coming to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna. I'll drive you guys there, unless you want to.
Also, I'm gonna just before we leave, I'm gonna like throw up like a sheet over the painting so that no one can see it.
Okay.
Just in case I don't want any more cops killing. There's cops dying or whatever as they're investigating
Yeah.
this.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You throw a sheet over the painting.
All right, let's try down to where is she near? Is she local?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay, I'm gonna ride downtown and.
I am coming with you guys. I have to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This to the to whatever fruition this is coming to.
Yeah, we need you there, Summers.
If you can read that note, then you're just as
of course
valuable
I
as
can
we are.
read it. And it just Parker was tired.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course.
There are ways to
And
explain
that
everything.
painting's not cursed.
Oh, of course it isn't cursed. There's no such thing as cursed paintings.
By the time we get down there, it'll be 6, 7 a.m. We should be waking up. Won't be too ridiculous and we're knocking on our door. So we're going to drive downtown to Miss Derringer's house and rat-a-tat-tat on her door. Oh, is there a car in?
The garage door's closed.
Okay.
So, you knock on the door, and it takes a while. It takes a few minutes until a woman comes and opens up the door, and she's in a nightgown with her hair like in a top knot, and wiping like sleep from her eyes, and she's like looks over and like looks extremely confused, and then looks at Marcus and says, "What, Matthew? Is that museum guy?"
It's Marcus LeVay. We've met, but I appreciate the fact you remember me regardless. No, we've come here regarding an investigation. I'm sure you were informed about the recent murder at the Museum of Great Tragedy, at least from a few weeks ago.
I saw it in the paper. Why? What does that have
Yes.
to do with me? Marcus, I'm sorry. I still have not come to your museum. I know you want me to, and you
No.
think it'll be fun. I've never been there.
It's quite
Miss-
all right. As I'm sure you would have a lovely time, but I think we have some more pertinent questions to deal with.
Yeah,
Is your
Miss,
husband
Miss-
home by chance?
Yeah, Miss Derringer, is your husband home? It's real important. There's been another 2 murders at the museum.
No, he's not. He's at work.
This early? Oh, must leave pretty early. What? He a worker?
He owns a construction company.
Oh, that's nice. What if we come in and ask you a few questions, Miss Derringer? I know it's so early. My name is Detective Russell Gibbs. I'm working with the police on an active murder inquiry, and I'd really appreciate cooperation. Needless to say, it's very important indeed. My associate here, Miss Summers.
Hi.
What if we
I
sit down?
get it.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm so sorry to bother you at this time. And it's really an
Victory.
interest. We understand.
It's
I use my
it's
power
really my
things of
fault.
charisma to try to
What is
make her
always a-
feel more comfortable. And
Yeah. Okay. You can go ahead and give me a roll.
all right, let's hope that this is pretty good. So 6. 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So 7 charisma and persuasive. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's not so great. You try to like calm her down, but it seems like the more you're speaking to her, the more panicked she gets, and she's like, "I can tell you're trying to calm me down, which makes me feel like you're going to tell me something really bad, and I don't understand why I'm even involved in this. I've never even been to the creepy sad museum."
I just kind of like go behind and kind of push Russell forward.
Yeah, I just walk into a
She
house.
doesn't handle that well.
Yeah. And she's
I'll
like
walk into
trying
our
to,
house.
yeah, she's trying to stop you, and she's like, "I don't understand. Like, you haven't even told me what I have to do with any of this."
Miss Derringer,
I
please, there
apologize.
are 3
That's
people
my
dead.
fault.
Yeah, there are 3 people dead,
Russell,
Miss
you're
Derringer.
being a
I'm here
little-
to ask you questions. You're not a suspect, all right? Just a lot of people are dead, and we need to figure this thing out. Okay, so we think you might know some background information that might help us. Probably you know nothing, but if you answer these questions quickly and honestly, we can move out of your house as soon as possible and leave you and your husband to your day.
Okay, just as long as you're gonna leave soon.
Yeah, that's the spirit. So I walk in and sit down. Thank you, Lunker.
Thank you.
So, Miss Derringer, you recently donated. I understand. I get out my notepad and pen. I'm to understand that you recently donated a few pieces to the Museum of Great Tragedies. Is that right?
Yeah. I was left a bunch of old creepy stuff I didn't want, and got him to take it away. There's nothing more to that.
Yep, that's what I had here. That all lines up perfectly. Okay. So these pieces, they were your grandma's. Had you tried to sell them before, or get rid of them? A junkyard sale, or take them to a charity shop, that kind of thing?
What? Yeah, no one else would take them.
Wouldn't take them. It's because they're kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of creepy. Your grandma,
they were creepy, and they were broken, and no one wanted to fix them because they were too creepy. No one wanted to buy them because they were too broken, and
makes sense.
I couldn't destroy them because then the family would be upset. Really, the only hope I had was this creepy museum to take them away.
Right. And your, how much do you know about your great grandma?
Not that much. She died when I was very young.
You know how she died? Just old age or sickness or something?
No. And she's like looking at, like, very tired and like trying to think back, and she's like, I don't really remember.
That's all right. These details get lost, especially when it's this early. She had a husband as well. Is that correct? And he passed away?
Yeah. He died first. She got weird, and then she died.
Gotcha. Do you know how he died exactly?
Nope. No one's ever talked about it, really. I know that she was like super touchy about it and like never really like told people.
Right.
He just like died, I guess.
Yeah, no, I guess these things happen, especially that long ago. People just died. Well, that's useful. Do you have any things of hers that are still here, like letters or anything like that you didn't shift?
No. Everything had to go.
Okay, so here's what we're dealing with right now, Miss Derringer. 3 people have died. They've been murdered in the museum, right by the exhibit of your grandma of the painting and the creepy letters and all that stuff. Now, the nature of these killings are that there are 3 married men who have all died, and we believe it's in connection to their marital status, and that someone believes falsely that they are living out some kind of revenge or catharsis by killing these men involved in your great-grandmother's story. Psychopaths who are crazy and believe that they can bring ghost stories to life, that kind of thing. You get like modern-day copycat Jack the Rippers, that kind of thing. That's what we're looking at here. It sounds crazy, but that's where we're at right now. So anything else you can think of that could help us would be really useful. Anything about your grandma or anyone that was asking you about it sometime, taking a particular interest in that kind of thing. If you maybe received any strange phone calls or letters in the post recently, it didn't make much sense, but could help us.
She's like, she looks like she's not entirely grasping what you're saying, and she's extremely confused, and she's like, I'm sorry, sir, but like, as far as I know, her story was not really one that was remarkable or widely told. She was just a woman who lost her husband and then got really sad and started making weird shit. I don't know.
Right.
I know that after he died, she was like super isolated and never left, which is why she got into weird shit and started painting and like didn't have any friends. And she wrote the letters that I already gave you, but as far as I know, everything was left to me, and now it's either in that creepy museum or in Marcus's house.
do. Okay. Well, you've been very, very helpful, Miss Derringer. Very helpful indeed. Your husband, I'd love to grab a chat with him. He runs his own construction company. You know where he might be? Is he there?
Yeah, probably in his office, but he knows less about this than I do.
It's just one of these leads that we just have to follow up. And could you get him on the phone for me?
Sure. And so she goes over.
Know that we're gonna drop by.
So she calls him up and she's like, "Hey, sweetie. So weird thing. The police are here, and so is that creepy museum guy that was here the other day, and so is this other nurse lady, and someone. I'm not really clear. I think someone is obsessed with my dead great grandmother and killing people on her behalf. No, don't hang up. No. I'm not crazy. This is real.
Mr. Derringer, could I do you mind?
Sure. And she hands over the phone, and you hear like a gruff voice that's like, "I don't have time for this."
Oh, Mr. Derringer, I think that you do. This is Detective Russell Gibbs. We're working with the police in coordinated effort to track down a serial killer. So I know you're a very busy man, but it has a way of not really waiting around.
I don't see how this has anything to do with me or my wife, and I wish you would just leave our home.
Very shortly, you're gonna see how this is all connected, Mr. Derringer. If you'd please just give me 5 minutes of your time. I know you're busy. Could we arrange a meeting, say 20 minutes?
Fine. If it will take my wife out of these strange hysterics, then sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Derringer. You're very, very helpful.
Great. And he hangs up.
I give the phone back to his wife. What a lovely man. I think that's everything cleared up for me. Anything else for you guys?
No. Let's get out of this poor woman's hair.
I do have a couple of questions.
One thing
your
just
mother
to mind as well. Go ahead.
Your mother and the one who's, that mother's daughter. Was she married? I assume so, and I don't want to leap to any assumptions. Is she still alive?
Yeah, she was married, and no, she's not still alive. I'm kind of
What about
the last one standing, That's why all this stuff kind of came to me.
Mm-hmm. What about her husband, father?
Nope. He died very right before she did, and that was that. So, just me.
You mind if I ask how?
There was some sort of accident. Again, I was pretty young. I was never really too clear on it, and never really asked about it. He had some sort of condition, and things happened.
These things happen. I'm very sorry to hear that, Ms. Derringer. As I'm getting out the door, I pulled a Columbo. I'm like, one last thing. We're gonna need a safety gear, a hard hat or something. Your husband's construction. Has he got big equipment there? Runs a construction yard. Is it machinery, heavy machinery? The only reason I ask is because my wife, and I point towards my ring, which I'm totally divorced. My wife, she gets all kinds of crazy when I go to a place where I'm meant to be wearing a hard hat, and I tell her, "Honey, I don't want to wear a hard hat." But I've been trying to do better. So, if you like that,
you want me to give you a hard hat?
No. I mean, will I need to wear one? I got one in the boot of my.
I mean, maybe, I guess, if your wife demands you wear a hard hat, if that's what she's into.
Yeah. No, it really allay her concerns if, what kind of construction is it? Like houses, that kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, houses, buildings, big, tall, skyrise, high-rise things, and parcels, and
probably a lot of heavy machinery all around. So I'll do safe and get my hard hat out of my trunk. Thanks so much, Miss Derringer. It's so much for your time. All right.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to bother you this early in the morning.
Yeah, she just gives you a confused nod.
Thank you.
To clarify, when you said the creepy museum guy, you meant the museum is creepy, not me, right?
Yeah. I would never say, yeah, you're... Yeah.
Clap him on the shoulder. Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
If you ever do want to come by, free.
Nope, that's... No.
As you start to walk out...
Hey, there are free murders at your grandma's creepy painting. Do you want to come? Free tickets.
Yeah. Free. Come on in.
Helping free tickets.
So as you start to walk out, she like slowly and subtly tugs on the sleeve of Marcus before he turns around and says, so there is one more thing that I wasn't supposed to give out in the hall of creepy stuff, but I just remembered, and it seems like it. I've actually never read it, so I don't know. But she had a diary. I've kind of locked it away. I wasn't supposed to give it up because it was like the personal thing, but I guess as long as you bring it back, then it's okay.
I would love to be able to examine it, and I assure you we won't put it on display in the museum if you don't want it.
I'm just gonna need it again.
Okay, if that's what you want.
And so she turns around and unlocks a drawer in a chest and pulls it out, and there's an old, very weathered journal in it that she hands to you that's bound up in twine, and gives it off and says, again, make sure you bring it back.
Bring it right back. Something that your mother told you maybe to keep it safe?
Yeah, the other stuff, the letters, the paintings and all that, that's all fine and good, but this was supposed to be like, she said that when my grandmother died, she handed this down and said to keep it safe within the family, and I don't think my mom ever read it. I've never read it. So...
Okay,
yeah.
That's fine. If you think of anything else, please don't hesitate to call. Been very helpful, Miss Derringer.
Yeah, great. Just bring it back, and don't show it to anybody else, and keep it private, safe. It's a family thing, but I guess if it has to do with murder, then you got to give it up, right?
And it got it, don't you?
And you can tell she seems like very, very nervous and hesitant to give this up. Like,
thank you, Miss Derringer.
She's gonna get in trouble almost. Like, when a kid is like confessing something that they did wrong, and they're terrified of what the punishment is gonna be.
Right, like her mom's gonna grab a slipper and beat her with it from the grave.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna take it back to the car, and as like Gibbs is gonna recklessly drive because that's the only way he knows how to, over towards the construction yard. But like, hey Marcus, can you read that? Oh, he's fucking idiots on the road. Yeah, read that diary. See what it's got.
Yeah, I will open it and begin to read from its pages.
So there's a couple entries. Some of them are very mundane. It's very like, this is what I did today, and these are the things that I saw, and these are the people that I saw, and these conversations that I had. Very, boring, for lack of a better term. But then as you go on, you see it takes a very different turn from the letters that you've read. The letters seem to speak of her sadness and longing for her husband, and this irreparable heart that was completely broken when she lost the love of her life. But you read these entries and you see that wasn't really the case for them. She lets into this sort of dark relationship that was very unhappy and a very tumultuous a few years of them being together. And then towards the end, it very vaguely lays out a wish, almost writing it down to manifest it into reality, that she wished she could start over and be alone so she could finally find the person she was meant to be with. She wished there was some way out.
Thank you, Val! Oh, that is worrying, huh?
But,
So, are you like,
yeah,
relaying this?
I'll relay all of this, yeah. I can tell you one thing, it wasn't a happy marriage she was in. All she wanted, it seems, was a chance to start over. Do it right. Someone new.
Right. Someone new, huh? But how could anyone else know if that diary's been locked away in her mother's drawers for, 50 years? Who would know, who's still alive and who'd still give a shit, that she was unhappy? Because the letters that you have in the museum say nothing about that. And yet the letter which they left on the body of Andy, whoever wrote that knew. Whoever wrote that had read that diary before.
I mean, the only living person who had a chance to read this diary, even though she says she never did, would be Jess. But I somehow doubt that.
She's not, doesn't have it in her. She's scared. She's scared of what she thinks is going to happen to her, and she gives us that diary. Her mother scared her, scared it into her that her grandmother was someone to be feared. Whoever this grandma was, she seems like she was a piece of work. If you can terrify someone, your own daughter, and then your granddaughter, via her to, place a diary into a drawer and never to give it away for, however many years they've been keeping it there, you gotta be one scary motherfucker. And her husband? He's the only other person that I think might be able to have a chance to read that.
You're right.
And
begs the question, though. If he was able to see the painting in their home for as long as he did, why didn't he die?
That's a good question.
Because paintings don't kill people?
That is one option. He may very well be the person that we're looking for. He seemed cold and detached on the phone. He was not happy to hear his wife at all. Wasn't happy to hear me either, but then, no surprise.
It was early warning, though. I mean, it could just been a personality thing.
When someone calls you, a police officer, and tells you that you're involved in a triple murder, you don't seem cold and detached. You seem worried and ready to help.
Sometimes there's some rich assholes out there that would be inconvenienced by it.
Yeah, he fits the profile kind of nicely, though, when you think about it. He owns a construction company which has got a lot of mechanical, industrial stuff. And if he works, he's probably powerful enough to overcome someone and kill them. And he may have the motive. If he's been staring at that painting for long enough, he read the diary, maybe he's disenfranchised with his wife and has become obsessed with this idea. Yeah. Or, the fucking painting did it. Still an option. Still on the table. Oh, look, here's the lumber yard, or the construction yard.
Yeah, so you pull up, and as your car comes up, this man comes down to greet you. He's not wearing a hard hat, but he comes out and greets you at the car, and says, "Are you the man that I spoke to earlier on the phone?"
Yeah, that's right. Detective Russell Gibbs and my companions here, Mr. LeVay and Miss Summers.
Great. Well, I have a very busy day ahead of me. I can give you 5 minutes.
You look very busy. 5 minutes is all we need. Do you mind if we come inside?
Sure.
Glance back to Marcus and Rachel, like, it's fine. All right, all smiles and step freely into his office. What? Okay, what does his office look like?
Very clean. Very clean, modern, black and white, crisp, nothing out of place.
Does he wear a wedding ring?
No.
He's married. He doesn't wear a wedding. All right. I don't.
While he's
don't
talking, I'm going to be walking around and just sort of touching things and just inspecting for anything out of place.
So, I'm sure you'll be very distressed, Mr. Derringer, to hear about 3 murders, all in this museum of great tragedies that your wife recently donated a few pieces to. We believe they're killings to be involved with your wife's grandmother, Sarah Derringer, and her story. You know anything about her grandmother?
The only thing I know is that Jessica came into these pieces. We didn't want them. She got rid of them. That's the end of my knowledge.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's all we got here. She said the same. She wasn't didn't know too much about the whole thing, which not surprising. We just having to follow up on these, loose ends to tie them all up. So, Mr. Derringer, was there ever a diary that your wife's grandmother has?
How would I know? I don't know.
I guess you live with her, and I was expecting that maybe she might have mentioned that to you.
She didn't.
How is your marriage, Mrs. Derringer?
And this is the first time you see him a little bit shaken up. He adjusts his collar a little bit and says, am I under arrest?
I, with a slip of my hand, I remove my wedding ring. No, not at all. No, you're not even a suspect, Mr. Derringer. We're just following up all of our leads here. You have to understand this is just part of a procedure.
So then I'm not required to answer too many questions about my personal life.
No, but everything is helpful.
I assure you that the state of our marriage has nothing to do with the case you're investigating, and that's all you need to know.
So not good, and really, is it? Things aren't looking so good with you and Jessica. I mean, I myself, and I sort of let the line where I've been wearing a ring. I'm a divorcee too, so
yeah, you can see that his hand where he would have been wearing a wedding brand doesn't even have an imprint. It's been off for a long time. It's not something he just took off for work.
Right. Yeah. You know what? That's too bad. That's too bad. So, I guess if you just give me a quick overview of the work you do here, and then we can just wrap things up and head out.
Sure. And he does look a little bit shaken up, but more so sad. Thinking about it, he does look kind of sad. That's the read that you get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, as I say that, I say, it's tough when you know that they're just not the one, and you thought they were.
We've actually been separated for quite some time.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. I am. That's too bad. But do you ever think that there's sometimes these things work out so you can find the right person?
Maybe I think that the dating world is probably very closed off for me at this point. It's not something I intend to make a lot of time for. I'm very busy here. I own the company, so I oversee everything, and everything that happens has to go through me, and I have to sign off on it, and it takes all my time.
I understand, Mr. Derringer. I hate to pry, but I do need to know. Are you seeing anyone else at the moment? It seems like that was a no.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And he like looks up and says, "Is she seeing someone?"
She still wears a ring.
She still wears a ring.
You see him kind of like smirk and look down and say, "Okay, thank you. Is that all that you need?"
Most of what I got. You guys? Oh, one thing. I was like Columbo again.
Yeah.
The painting. You've seen it before of her grandma?
Yes, I lived with it for. Yeah.
Creepy thing. She seemed pretty scared of her grandma when we mentioned it. You know, like she was kind of a scary old lady.
Yeah, she never really talked about her too much, and that was one part she never really opened up to me about, and certainly won't now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Derringer. Friends, got anything else?
Thank you.
The painting and the other effects that Jessica had been holding on to for a while. Did you find them to be quite as disturbing as she did? I know she complained about them and it seemed like you weren't quite as concerned.
Oh, no, I did, but I didn't spend that much time around them. I've been here most of the time.
Do you spend nights here too? Are you living together?
Seems like you were here pretty early.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Mr. Derringer, where were you last night?
Oh, last night I was here.
Midnight?
I slept here.
You hear of anyone else?
There's a night crew of security around.
They'll corroborate.
Oh, absolutely. They're not here now. They're the
Probably
night crew.
CCTV all over this place, right?
Oh, absolutely. State of the art.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Derringer. You've been very helpful.
Thank you.
So we like step out and say, "Not our man."
Before we leave, as he was kind of doing this conversation, I was looking around the office for anything kind of out of place. Did I see anything? Like, I don't know. Does it look like? I mean, he had very short notice before we made it over there. Did it look like anything had been like hastily hidden or something like that?
No, it looks like it's kept pretty pristine. You might have seen maybe even like a blanket or a cot or something if he has been spending nights here and staying in his office or something like that.
Yeah.
But nothing else.
Yeah. We get back into the car. Dead end. That one. He didn't do it.
You think not?
At least not my read on the guy. He seemed genuinely interested in his wife, upset. And he didn't seem to connect with what I was trying to lead him into about the finding someone else thing. I mean, he's upset, sure, but I didn't sense that he was angry. And the security footage says the same in the night crew, then that would confirm even more. You know, I think we're looking for a woman. Maybe
Can't
we're
imagine.
looking for the creepy painting. Me neither, to be honest, because
Mhm.
Jessica, she does not have it in her to eviscerate free men. And while Derringer may have the means, I don't think he has a motive. I don't think he had the opportunity either.
It's worth checking these security cameras just in case.
Could be lying. Could be lying. I think, like,
You're the
Yeah.
expert on lying, not me, but I'd like to have a look
Yeah.
at least. I'm
Yeah,
more
definitely.
of a hard evidence man.
Are they going to take that painting into evidence? Since it was at the crime scene? Is that
Last
common? Would they take that without... I mean, there was no blood on it, really. There was nothing. I don't know. Would they take it
Right.
for impounding?
It didn't seem like they were gonna. I mean, he threw the sheet over it. I think,
Why don't we set up a trap
yeah.
to
I think
catch the killer?
I think you're right. As long as I think you might be right. I think we need to wait for the police to clear out. First thing I want to do is take a quick look at the painting just to make sure there's no fucking tunnel behind it or something that's been hiding there.
something behind it, some sort of anything.
Get a feeling they didn't, but yeah, I think we then invite a married man to the museum at night, and we wait until someone tries to kill them.
We do need some kind of bait. I don't know that it needs to be a married man so much as just one with a ring, though.
Yeah, that's
you.
true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've never
Maybe
married.
you never know. Maybe I'm the one that this person's looking for. We can do that.
Charming
Okay.
gentleman.
I car mirror down to myself, or I see like my fucked up face, or like eating cigarettes out the window. Like, sure, yeah. That's last thing we do is we'd have to like roleplay the whole scene out, but like check with the night crew to corroborate his story. Like they saw him.
Yeah, you can call them up and they say that he is there. He is like more than willing to show you the security tapes. They would probably be in his office. He's, more than willing to show you he was there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we double check just to be certain, and then I think drive back towards the crime scene.
Okay. So as soon as you get there, and get out of the car and start walking up, you see Parker, who is looking more and more tired. The dark circles are darkening, and she pulls you in and says, "Ah, there you are. I have something to show you now. Our tech guy has been working on those tapes, and it's not perfect. Can't really make out everything, but you can like hear something."
Yeah, I'd love to. Show me what you
Okay.
got, Parker.
Come on. Yeah, curator, you lead the way.
All right. To the security room. I've been there twice before.
Yes, so you get there, and the little techie guy has been working on it this entire time, and she's like, "Okay, play them what you played me a second ago." And so he begins to play the tape of the first incident with James, the attendee, who came alone and never came out. And so when he plays it, the static is still there. You can't see anything new, but the conversation that you almost cleared up has now been further modified to where you can kind of make out what they're saying, and you hear a woman's voice who says, "What's your name?" And you hear a shaky response of a man who says, "James." And then the woman responds and says, "James, do you love me?" And there's a long pause of stuttering and confusion, and he says, What? I don't even know you. No." And then you hear screaming, and then the static goes away, and you see the body on the floor. Fast forward to Marcus running in.
Sounds a
And
lot
Parker
like a guy.
holds it to you and looks at you.
Sure, that guy's name wasn't Wilhelm.
Oh my god.
Okay. Does a woman's voice sound? Can we get a read on if she sounds young, if she sounds old?
She sounds young.
Does she sound like Sarah? Or does she sound like Jess, rather? I don't know what Sarah sounds like. She's super dead. There are no
But
recordings
no,
of her voice.
it doesn't really sound like Jess. She speaks with a sort of an elevation to her voice. It's like like a sort of poshness that's almost an accent.
In the oldie times. Sorry.
Is that what you say?
Is the painting of Sarah, is she old in the painting or is she young in the painting?
She's young in the painting.
Right. So she's not an old woman in the painting. Okay.
The
Okay.
painting is not even of her in the era of which she lived. It's a strange setting.
It's like Victorian age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no way her great grandmother is that fucking old. That's weird. So like we said, there's a woman.
Yeah.
But that's probably not Jessica. Unless Jessica's going through some kind of crazy psychosis or like split personality thing we don't know about. I mean, possible, I guess. It's all about the man. It's all about the love. She's trying to find someone that loves her. And each time they say no because they're scared and they're caught out. Whatever they see is scaring them so much. So she has to have an appearance on which is shocking them and scaring them. Well, I guess if you speak to someone at night in a creepy museum, you're going to be spooked. But they ask you if you love you. Okay. Parker, it's going to sound crazy. I want you to set up a sting. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to see if Sarah talks to me. And if she asks me if I love her, well, I'm going to tell her I do.
Parker looks like so confused and she's like, Gibbs, have you actually gone insane? Have you been out of work that long that you have lost your fucking mind?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Like,
Three
this is
people are
ridiculous.
dead.
If we're going to set that up, we're going to have to clean out the entire thing. This is...
Whoever's doing this, though, Parker. I mean, they're striking men in their 30s, and I'm 40. I'm in my 40s, and you know, it's exactly the demographic. I'll wear my ring, and I'll go in, and we'll see if anything happens. Call it a hunch.
It's going to be... Oh, God. You know what? I am just tired and delirious enough to let you try something. You've got enough of a reputation with me that I'll trust you here. But Gibbs, I swear to God, if you make me look stupid, I'll ruin your name so much that you will never be called again. You'll be
Not a
a
problem to me.
complete joke.
Well, we'll see, won't we? I got a good feeling about this one, Parker. Got a good feeling about this one.
Okay. This just keeps getting weirder and weirder, but okay. EMT girl, come help me clear out these bodies.
Okay.
So, yeah, she pulls you over along with the rest of the crew, and you know they're pulling out body bags, and like the blood has been cleaned up at this point. It's just they have not been moved to preserve the scene. So, then as people are like picking them up and putting them onto stretchers and putting them to bags, they pick Andy first because he was laying on top, and you know, get that out of the way. And then the next one they pick up is Brandon, who when they do so, you see there was a note in his back pocket.
See what it says. Probably just another blank letter, Parker.
It's
Go
gonna read
ahead.
blank pieces of paper,
Parker, can you
signifying
pull
the
that paper
absence of.
and look at it? Since I don't
Yeah,
have the-
she pulls it out, and picks it up off the floor as it fell out of his pocket, and opens it up and says, "It is also blank. Is there something I'm missing here, or why all these men have blank pieces of paper in their pockets? Is this a new thing? Is this your MSN thing?"
I see it. Let me see it.
Yeah, it's like she just like throws it back and like continues to go on with her work of clearing out the scene. And she
And I'm
also
gonna-
looks up and says, "Who put the sheet over the creepy painting? I appreciate that."
The curator did that too.
Me.
Yes.
You're welcome.
And
Thanks.
so I'm looking at it, the letter, or I'm looking at the piece of paper. Is there they're writing on it? Is it written?
Yep.
There's handwritten. Son of a
Yeah,
bitch.
there's a handwritten note, a similar state that it was written in some sort of a very wet ink directly applied to the paper that probably was not 100% dry when it was put into the pocket, so it's slightly smudged.
And it says Brandon instead of Andrew.
Yes, it says something
Is
different.
there any difference to it? Is it the same thing? I always thought I love you, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, didn't work out. Pew pew. Like, it's the same thing.
That's the gist of it. This one says, "Brandon, I had such high hopes for us, and when your eyes met mine, I felt something so new, and I thought you would be the one. But I'm sorry I could not be who you wanted. I will carry you by my heart, my love."
All right.
Well, there you go. I think, we've got a good chance of finding someone here, because I think there aren't too many married guys that walk around this museum, or have done in the past few weeks, and I think everyone that has ended up dead. So,
It's fair. Most of our patrons are not generally well disposed to the romantic life.
right.
Many are hopeless romantics, few are hopeful ones.
Yeah, sure. Well, hopefully you won't have to visit the security room for the third time, if things go well.
Try not to die.
If anyone tries to eviscerate me suddenly, give me a heads up, and you guys come running.
Will do.
Okay, well, wire me up. We'll be on the radio system together, and if I see anything funky, I'll let you guys know. We'll do this tonight. So I think we clear out the museum of
Yeah.
people, but have the police ready to sting in through the side doors, that kind of thing.
Right. So, as you exit and start to relay this plan to the forces that are there, they look very confused, and some are laughing, and some are just completely frustrated at the fact that they have to do this because it seems so weird and pointless. But Parker is there, and she's having your back, and she's like, "Guys, Gibbs has got a lot of wisdom. He's been here for a long time, and he has a lot more experience and has a really good reputation with his weird hunches."
I bustle in. I'm like, "Listen, you fuckers. 3 people are dead. One of them's a cop. Okay, he's one of your own. We're gonna find this fucker and we're gonna take him in. All right? Fucking
Right.
get into place."
We're gonna do everything we can, and I don't want to hear any lip from anybody about it. And you hear a lot of murmurs and stuff, and she's like, "Hey, get where you need to be." And she leans over to you and says, "I swear to God, Gibbs, do not fuck this up."
I've never fucked anything up before, except my marriage, my career. So, you're good.
Those are
Oh, I do.
the two most important things.
Sure, wink over towards Marcus. Third time's a charm.
Oh my God, what am I doing? So, Parker looks over and she's like, "Where did you say you want me to be?"
Well, want you on the comms, and I want you in the security room watching the tapes.
Okay. Oh, this is so dumb.
I'll go to the security room with her. Get her some coffee on my way there.
Yeah, as you're walking, she's like, I can't believe that I just willingly gave up my entire reputation and career to go with this insane plan. What am I doing? And you're a doctor, right? Can you tell me, am I delirious? And what is happening to me?
No, you're tired.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Gone.
No.
So
It's fine.
tired.
She's not a doctor. That advice isn't worth anything.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Is it? Yeah.
She'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back in a second. We'll wait a little bit, but yeah. So, well, set the scene for me here, Gibbs. How are you setting everybody up? Where have you dictated everybody to go?
Oh, there she is.
Oh,
Sorry about
she's
that.
back.
Can you
No,
hear me
it's okay.
okay? So just go to the security room with her. We'll get some coffee out. We'll sit and watch this all hash out.
Yeah. So she is like staring at the security tapes and like looking at the one in the Broken Hearts exhibit, and nothing is happening there quite yet. And she just like has her face in her hands, and she's like, shouldn't even say when this doesn't work, I don't know what we're gonna do next.
Take that painting down and impound it.
Yeah. That'll be nice. Thanks for the coffee.
You're welcome. On the videotapes said where I'm looking at, so we're looking at the video feed. Is it pretty clear, like as opposed to when it was captured and we were looking at the playbacks? Is it? I mean, like you said, it's not like super expensive high def equipment, but can we see everything? I mean, can I see everything pretty well from the angle and whatnot?
Yeah, it's clearer than the playbacks, which seem as if they were damaged in some way, but it's definitely nowhere near as clear as the video footage of the security cameras that you saw at the construction site. It's night and day.
It is color. It's not black and white.
It's color.
I don't know how cheap you are, Marcus.
It's probably like not a full 30 frames per second, so it looks a little stuttery.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good enough you can probably make things out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so, Gibbs, where have you positioned Marcus for this stakeout?
Probably, I'm imagining close to me. So like in a side door where he can come through. He knows the museum pretty well. So some kind of back stair, fire escape exit where he can come through and not be super visible.
Yeah. There's actually a place that's very good for hiding, which is right next to the Museum of Heartbreak, or the Heartbreak area, is the war section, and within that, there's actually a tank, a full-on tank that actually opens up, and I can duck inside to kind of hide.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess who's going to be taking the sheet off of the painting?
That would be Gibbs, probably. I think when he goes in, he'll, take the painting off and see what's underneath it for drama.
Yeah, so he does a dramatic flare when he removes the sheet from the painting, and as you look at it, the painting has the title card next to it as the Weeping Widow, and the description of it says, the Weeping Widow depicts a woman in Victoria era clothing crying. She wears a wedding ring around her neck, which we can only assume is her late husband's, and we'll never know what that letter says that's in the painting. Oil painting on stretched canvas circa 1922. So, you see this painting, which, for all intents and purposes, should depict a woman who's crying. But she seems to be making eye contact with you, and she's not crying. She looks angry. Her brows are furrowed and her forehead is wrinkled, and she looks very upset.
like on the radio, I'm like, yep, painting's looking pretty mad at me. And thank you so much, T-Virus. Nat 20s there. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, yep, painting's looking real mad. Not looking so good. Hold. Over.
As you look away to speak into the radio, and as you look back up, you see that the painting's arm has moved. It was completely behind her like this, and now it's come out a little bit. You can see a glint of a clenched fist, maybe the thumbs and the forefinger curled, as if they're holding something.
Sid, from the cameras, do I see anything as far as the painting moving at all?
No, you actually can't see the painting in the camera.
Okay.
You can only see people
Okay.
standing. It doesn't focus on the actual wall.
Okay. And then just whatever Gibbs is saying through his lapel pin or whatever he's reporting it on.
Yeah, you can hear
Yeah.
you talking.
It's like clipped on. Yeah, he's like, painting's moving. Hold. Still moving. Just pen. Oh, okay. I actually look towards the painting, and I'm like, Sarah?
When you looked away and looked back, now you can see that she is holding a sharp object similar to a letter opener, and that it looks strangely as if there's something dripping off of it. That it has aged along with the painting. It's very strange, as if someone used a different, almost watercolor technique to have this dripping effect, but it's not wet. It's not fresh. It looks aged and as if it's browned over time.
Hey, Sarah. You're looking good. You're looking... Wow, yeah. Okay, it's nice. How are you feeling? How's the search going? Painting's moving. Painting's moving a lot. She's pretty gross. She's super old.
Getting ready to leave, but not yet.
She's like moving out the painting still?
No. You have not seen it actually move. Every time you look away
Okay,
and look back, the painting is
just
different.
moving. I keep my eyes on it for a long time, and I like put up my wedding ring.
Mm-hmm.
You see this? And I look away and look back.
She now has the letter opener pointing towards her neck.
I look at it and I say, I could be the one. You want to come find out? Look away, look back.
You see her expression has softened. And it looks like the other hand is starting to reach out.
Mm-hmm. Don't you at least want to ask my name?
At this point, when you look away and look back, the hand has extended out from the painting and slapped itself upon the wall. And as it starts to come forward and move out of the painting,
Like ring style?
yeah, like ring style, puts one hand on the wall, one hand is clutching hard onto the letter opener, and slaps it against the wall as well.
Like slowly stepping backwards. Like
Yeah, the head starts to come out, and she raises it up. The hair is hanging in her face. You see that her face and makeup looks almost smudged from tears. And she calls you by name and says, Russell, do you love me? And that is where we're gonna wrap up.
what?
This
Nope.
City of Mist one-shot. So
Nope.
we can have some time to do some
We have 42 more
giveaways.
hours. Let's go. Ooh. All right. Well, shit. I want to know if I love her. I want to know just how badly in trouble I am. Oh, shit. Ooh.
So there you go.
Goddamn. Goddamn. Well, my friends, we're going to end tonight's episode of City of Mist, the, what's it called? Museum of Great Tragedies, that's what it's called. Indeed. We'll have to finish this off sometime. We'll have to do like a part 2 sometime soon. I don't know if we've got time on the 48-hour stream, but we'll move things around. We'll make something happen, I'm sure. Because I want to know what happened to this fucking crazy woman and why she's trying to murder me. Yeah, I want to roll to see if I love her.
Rachel,
Exactly.
believe in the
You want to roll to
unbelievable.
see if you love her?
Roll to
Yeah, I
love.
wanna roll to
Stop making
Yeah,
excuses.
roll for love. Like,
Nice
this
danger.
could end happily ever after for me. I mean, like, this could be like a fairy tale ending for Gibbs. You never know. She's miserable. I'm kind of miserable. It's gonna be great. But indeed, we do have our next game coming up in a little while. But in between then and now, we're going to be doing some more giveaways. We're giving away dice. We're giving away PHPs, Fancy Grounds licenses, Idle Champions of the Realms, loot codes, and Mage Hand Press PDFs. So definitely stick around, my friends. There's more giveaways coming out in a few seconds' time here. But let's go around to cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Sid, great job tonight. How was that?
That was fun. Like I said at the beginning, this is my first time ever running this system, so I was really nervous and kind of shaky that I was going to mess it all up. But yeah, it was really fun, and I'm so glad you guys were into it, and it was really cool, and probably one of the smoothest games I've had. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me come here and potentially mess it all up, because I did not know what I was doing. So thank you. And if you want to find me anywhere else, I will link my Twitter in the chat, and you can see pretty much everything I'm doing from there. It's at Sid Shields, and you can also follow me here on Twitch. It's in the chat, and I stream a lot of World of Warcraft and other things.
Awesome. Let's see. Thanks so much, Jem, for the cheer. Awesome stuff. And let's see.
Thank you.
Speedy. Great job tonight as creepy Marcus. How was that?
Yeah. This was super fun. I'm glad that we got to do this. Glad to finally get to play another game with Sid, and glad that I got to be the first people you MC'd for City of Mist.
Yeah.
This was super fun though. I loved the whole investigation and the creepiness to it. And I loved creating my character. City of Mist is like one of the coolest systems to just like come up with neat characters for. So I absolutely adore it. You can find me here in another 3 hours playing in the Blood Plague, and then a few hours after that at 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, GMing some Blades in the Dark for an awesome crew. And you can also find me on my channel, Not So Speedruns, where I play indie games and some tabletop sometimes. You can also check out Cast Together on Twitch and Twitter. It's a community of streamers for mental health that I help run, and we are organizing right now first off, a 10-day charity campaign for To Write Love on Her Arm, centered around World Suicide Prevention Day, as well as a 24-hour stream next weekend, actually, on the Cast Together channel, where we're going to have a bunch of different streamers. Some of it's going to be tabletop. Grant Ellis is going to be running something. Marcy Vallon is going to be running something. And should be super awesome, all for fantastic charity cause and for mental health. So definitely go check that out as well.
Fantastic. With all of these 24, 40-hour streams, we'll just have one non-stop broadcast of tabletop going on.
One day.
Yeah, one day. Awesome. And last but not least, Ellie, great job tonight as EMT.
That was so much fun. I really feel bad about how worked up I was about trying to create this character. Once I finally got it all done and realized that it's really just a very open system, I think that's what makes it hard. but it's not hard. You just gotta think about it. And it was really fun. And said it was so great to finally be in a game with you. Love your Twitter. I read your Twitters all the time. I love all the stuff you post, all the articles that you post. It's hilarious. I watch your WoW stuff, of course. And I can be found on Twitter. I don't really run any streams. I'm just playing games right now. I'm fully loaded with work and with school, but you can find me on my Twitter page, which is just Behold Her Gaming. I'll just throw it up there. And it was great. It was so much fun. And I'll be in another game tomorrow. I believe I'll be in the Call of Cthulhu game.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, my friends, that's what we're going to end it tonight. The next game that we are going to be playing is Honey Heist. So stick around for that. We'll be bears stealing honey. It's going to be a good time for our 6 to 9.
A change in feel.
Change in pace a little bit, yeah, but it'll be good. It'll be good. Well, my friends, thanks for watching. Until next time, try not to throw too many nat ones. We want to be here laughing when you do. Good night, everyone. Bye.